I'm gonna do the CubCrafters Grand Slam hat trick thing. There's 3 of them, and I'm gonna fly them all in one day.
We're doing 25 miles an hour indicated. Yeah, that's bananas. And we're holding our altitude with no problem.
And my wife Jill got to be a part of this adventure as well.
So?
Oh, that was so fun.
This is the first of 2 episodes where I'll get checked out in 3 aircraft that bring modern era technology to the vintage design of the Super Cub, which I'm already familiar with.
Look at those toe brakes, baby. Now we're talking.
So I fly like a really old airplane that looks just like that, but I have a feeling this one's a lot more fancy. Someone tell us where we are, what we're doing?
Well, you bet. First off, welcome to Yakima. You are standing in the middle of the CubCrafters delivery hangar. And the neat thing about your trip here is that you may be one of the first people outside of CubCrafters to fly all 3 aircraft back to back to back.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that. That's gonna be awesome.
So how did we get here? After 15 years of flying tricycle gear, I finally became a tail wheel pilot.
Definitely feels like my first solo being alone in this thing again, man. This is a lot of airplane after flying tricycle gear.
And I've got just enough tail wheel time to be comfortable now. And that brings us to present day. I'm invited to CubCrafters to share my process of learning to fly the latest technology. And I want to stress that this is not a paid advertisement. These guys enjoyed the way I thoroughly shared my tail wheel training, and they invited me to capture the checkout process on their planes using my personal style.
Steve, what I thought we'd do here so you can really compare effectively is we'll brief a very simple mission, so we're not changing things every time, but you can experience each plane on the same set of maneuvers and really get a feel for what's different. Jill, I know you're not real keen on the old Super Cub Steve's been flying, so let's take you up and let you get a feel for what new technology can do.
Sounds great.
So yeah, despite my love affair with the beat up old Super Cub, I've yet to convince Jill to get into it.
And from my perspective, this is just getting the non-flying spouse to check out an airplane that basically is like the airplane that I love, but a lot more shiny.
You're good.
Okay.
You okay?
I think so.
Okay, clear prop.
It was calm this first evening, and it made sense to send Jill for a ride, as I had a whole bunch of training to do on the ground before I could fly.
Have you ever used a 796 before?
Nope.
Or anything like it? Oh wow, okay. Now you're going to fly all 3 airplanes, and there's most of what we're going to talk about is common to all the airplanes.
Yeah, I kind of like having a mixture of steam and glass. It's kind of cool.
Well, if you lined 100 pilots up in a room and you asked them all to design the ultimate instrument panel, you'd get 100 different panels, as you well know. So we like to offer a reasonable choice.
I do like that the switches are all here. The original has them up here.
Yeah.
Although these planes were designed to feel like a Cub, I'm stepping away from World War II era technology to a modern day digital cockpit.
Questions?
No, I'm looking forward to flying tomorrow.
Okay, cockpit briefing done.
Good.
And an airplane that's much more non-flying spouse friendly.
It's very smooth and very quiet, like it's remarkable to me.
You know, this is a Cub. Now, granted, this is kind of the ultimate Cub, but one of the things Cubs are known for is they fly low and slow, which means you can slow them down and it'd still be very safe and yet very maneuverable. So we'll show you what a little low and slow Cub flying is like.
Oh, wow, you are.
See, I'm throttling back here a little, and I'm going to put in 1 knot flaps. We're going to cruise along here about 70 miles an hour.
Oh, this is amazing! I love being this low in the plane.
A whole new deal.
Yeah.
You know, it's surprising. I do this all the time with folks that come in for demo flights and stuff, and it's shocking to me how many pilots have never done anything like this. Kind of a normal day for us Cub drivers. Really, all you need now is some music, and you'd be good, huh?
Exactly. Although this is pretty, I'm pretty good. I can't complain at the moment.
And nice thing about this, these planes have a good power to weight ratio. So if we, we can add some power, we can climb up quite easily.
Oh, wow, I love it.
Steve's going to get to fly 2 Carbon Cubs and this back to back.
I know already Steve's going to be stoked.
You think?
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
we'll see what he thinks.
So it was just as well we sent Jill for her flight on that calm evening, because the following day when she was off exploring the local area having tons of fun, it was really windy while I was doing my training.
Well, Steve, today's the day. This is a pretty cool thing. Being able to fly our 3 most popular airplanes back to back to back. I'm not sure I've done that. Of course, I fly them all on different days, but and I'm not aware of anybody in our system that's done this.
Clear prop.
The first plane we're going to fly is the Carbon Cub SS. That was the original Carbon Cub. That we certify as a light sport aircraft. So that has a gross weight of 1,320 pounds. Empty weight on those planes is typically right around 900 pounds, maybe a little more, depending on options. And the power to weight ratio is pretty phenomenal. And of course, by virtue of its lightweight, vortex generators, it lands pretty short as well.
Good morning, Yakima Airport information, Yankee 1753 Zulu weather. Wind 180 at 18, gusting 25, visibility 10.
So yeah, those are some pretty tough conditions for the lightest airplane I've ever flown, but I'm up for it.
So we'll go out on 27, we'll take off, and take off however you normally would in the Super Cub. Once you get up a couple hundred feet, just climb for the ridge, and in all cases, let's try a VY climb. VY in these planes is 71 miles an hour. So okay. I'll warn you ahead of time, probably going to be a little steeper angle than you're used to.
Advise on initial contact, received information, Yankee.
Boy, it's windy.
I thought I should handle all the radio work, so you don't need to worry about that. Focus on the airplane and what you're feeling. And
Yeah, I was going to suggest the same thing, so we're on the same page there.
Perfect.
Cool. 126 Charlie, Yakima tower runway 22, the wind 180 at 18, gusting 26, proceed on course, good for takeoff.
Standard checks like run-ups and pre-takeoffs have been cut from this video because I just want to compare the flight characteristics between the three airplanes.
Full power, little left aileron, roll it in, bring your tail up. Are you kidding me? Holy shit. Beautiful. How was that takeoff roll? There was no takeoff roll. Did you know that was going to happen? No, not quite that much. That's crazy.
now the FX, a little bit heavier airplane. It's built from our kit. Airframe itself is about 25 pounds heavier, and this particular plane has the extended range fuel tanks. So it's going to have a little more weight. We'll see if you feel it. That's why we're going to fly the same mission. Now the Carbon Cub FX and the EX2 kit that it's based on have a gross weight of 1865. People typically option those planes up even more, so they might have an empty weight of 950. So as you can see, you have a lot more legal useful load on a Carbon Cub FX. But that airplane has our new G-Series ailerons that we introduced last year in 2015.
Now, let's recap some of the differences. This airplane is going to be a little heavier than what we were just flying. With the fuel load we have, probably 200 pounds heavier. Same airframe, same engine, all that. But you've got different ailerons and different flaps. The flaps you won't feel too much different, but the ailerons you will. Just fly it. There's nothing you can do to prepare for it. But once we take off, I bet you'll feel a difference, and I'm not going to describe it. You do that for me, okay? Yes, sir.
And what the G-Series ailerons and flaps are really the flight controls that we were developing for the XCub along the way. You know, the XCub was in development for 6 years before we launched it.
Now, get a visual on that windsock over there.
Yeah, it's still moving, isn't it? Yeah, it's a crosswind.
So one notch of flaps. And I'd probably leave not full left stick in, but a little bit, and full throttle, and stick
so
forward.
on the last one I had too much stick in, eh?
Probably. I don't remember.
All right, here we go.
Here we go. Full throttle. You're flying.
Oh my God.
Nicely done. Your timing was great there.
Thank you. Yeah, I could feel it. The airplane told me what it wanted.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. You got to let it talk to you.
Okay, we're going to climb for 71.
Climb at 71.
And then the XCub is the big daddy. It has a gross weight of 2,300 pounds. Empty weight can be anywhere from 12 to 1275, so you have even more useful load there. And a little bit more structure because of that too. Where's the cables on this plane?
Yeah, I was going to say I didn't see where the heck they are, so I'm assuming they're inside the strut?
There are no cables.
There are no cables, okay.
They're rods.
Wow.
And your guess is right. There's rods inside here.
So we'll leave the door open for now?
Doesn't matter. Your call.
Okay, it's fine.
You're the PIC, my man. Hey, this is the third time. I think I'm going to take a nap this time.
Well, this one looks a little more complicated. What's different here?
The first 4 switches on over there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then as soon as we light it off, we'll turn the avionics on.
Okay.
This airplane's going to be quite a bit faster. And why is that? Actually, Jill asked a very good question. You know, I was showing her our ground speed, what we're doing and stuff like that. Wow, more horsepower? Actually, no, it's the same horsepower. They're both 180 horsepower engines. But between the aerodynamics on the airplane, the different landing gear without all this stuff, and the constant speed prop, all those things together make it significantly faster.
Okay, here we go. Yep.
This was later in the day and the wind had died down and shifted to a right crosswind.
Ready, set, it's flying.
Nice.
A little longer maybe, but not much.
Not much. Okay, was the significance?
I think we're giving up about 1.5 seconds of takeoff roll with the XCub to the other planes, with the SS being shorter, maybe another 0.5 second depending on conditions for the FX, and then another 1.5 seconds on the XCub.
RPM is redlining there a little bit.
Pull the throttle or the prop back just a little tiny bit.
We found in doing all the testing on this whole thing that you can pull back to like 22 squared and still be doing 125 or 30 miles an hour true and be down at 7 gallons an hour. So it just depends what you're trying to do. 75% power, 24 squared, or even go faster if you want and burn more fuel. It gives you a lot more flexibility. I'm kind of a constant speed prop fan personally.
It's like a manual transmission for a plane, basically, right?
I just was really going slow with that because I know it's a sensitive control.
It is, yep.
And we're climbing for 71 also in this airplane.
Affirm.
Of the stick feel.
So yeah, already you can feel that the stick ergonomics are probably different. That stick is in a different place in your lap, probably a more comfortable place.
More comfortable, yeah.
And now we don't have cables, we have rods. So those ailerons might feel yet a little bit more connected, a little more responsive. Continue your mission, same exact drill.
But let's climb up to 3,000 feet, get over the ridge, and we'll get out of the Class D airspace, and then we're going to be in what's called the lower valley.
Wow. So comparing airplanes, that might not have been a good comparison. I think you really had no takeoff roll. The right wing picked up like instantly, didn't it?
What we're going to do, just fly around the valley and do some air work. Every airplane you fly has a certain rhythm of the control inputs. How much stick do I need? How much back pressure do I need? How much rudder?
So first up, I think it makes sense. Let's just do some 90-degree turns to let you get the feel for the flight controls and the rhythm you need to do it correctly. So you can start now if you want. Just make a right 90. Pretty good right out of the box there.
No too much rudder on that.
No? Doesn't seem to have the back pressure dialed already.
I think I slipped out of the turn there. I put too much rudder for the rollout, eh?
That's okay. That's why you're practicing. Get a feel for it.
The rudder's really effective on this thing.
Every airplane is different. Well, especially at this speed. Now, the rudder needs to be effective at stall speed, so when you're going, whatever we're going, 100...
Yeah, I don't need a lot of rudder.
Exactly.
The FX was definitely an upgrade from the SS in several ways.
Controls are the same, except feel the front of that stick. There's 2 buttons there. What do you think the second one's for?
Missiles?
No, too far for missiles. Guns. No.
This plane is definitely a little more complex than that extra button is to disconnect the autopilot.
We're going to be worrying about the airplane. I recommend we don't mess with that too much.
Yeah, that's cool.
We get out of the Class D, we'll start into some turns again, same as last time.
And the panel is a lot more glass than the SS.
And remember, the arc on a normal airspeed indicator are represented by tapes here.
Yeah.
I think you'll find it doesn't take you long to adapt to tapes. If you're used to steam gauges, there's an adaptation, but it's not very long. Now let me point out something cool on this G3X panel. If you look at your airspeed tape, you're doing what, 109 right now? Yep. And if you look at the bottom of that tape, you see a magenta 96. That is your ground speed. Yep. Look at the top. What does the top say?
121.
TAS, true airspeed.
Yeah.
So it's taking the temperature, the pressure altitude, the wind, and computing it all for you. So you have real-time true airspeed.
And the airplane definitely felt a little different.
Feels a lot more stable, I guess is how you would describe it, right?
Because the FX felt pretty close, but definitely a little more stable, I guess. Is that the way to describe it? Because it's a little heavier?
Weight's going to do that to you. What you're saying is you could feel the weight.
Yes.
Back to back, that's what it'll do for you.
Well, it's like the little bumps are not pushing us around quite so much.
Yeah, we're not getting...
And it's exactly the same airframe, so difference is weight.
Only weight, yeah.
Believe me, the motto around CubCrafters is light is right.
I believe you.
In fact, we have an internal metric, Steve. If we can save a full pound on the empty weight of an airplane, legitimate pound, we will accept a price increase of $200 without even thinking about it.
As soon as we cleared the zone, we started our air work just like we did in the SS.
Yeah, that is nice.
Now, as you rolled in and rolled out, did it feel different?
Yeah, I didn't feel like there was any real pressure on it. It felt like it was just what I needed. I didn't have to fight at all.
And the actual roll rate is faster as well.
Quite high, yeah. I'm still getting used to this cowling. It's pretty fun. It's so much visibility.
And look out your greenhouse now. Look up high left.
Yeah,
you can see where you're going. Isn't that cool?
That is brilliant. Yeah, it really is Super Cub brought into the modern era. And those ailerons, I'm going to say they feel better. I'm having a harder time articulating why, but I think it doesn't take much to do exactly what you want it to do. Like, I'm really definitely fingertip flying. That's it. The other one took a little more manhandling to get it to do. It did. Well, a little higher roll force there. Yeah, okay, that's right. Just make a mental note here because we're going to go to XCub next, which has the same ailerons, but now we've got the rod control system instead of the cable. Right. So level off at 3,000? You bet. Then we're 24 squared and 24 squared. Affirm. Just cruising along here. Look at your ground speed. Wow, 145. This ain't your grandfather's Cub. Nope.
This is not guns, and it's not missiles, and it's not autopilot disconnect. It's trim disconnect. We do not have manual trim, and we're in the Part 23 world here now, okay? So the FAA says, what about a runaway trim? So the pilot has to have a way to disengage the trim should it run away.
Are we out of the space yet? Almost. So you can start making turns if you want. Okay, so I'll just do a couple S-turns here. Sure. Beautiful. Roll response is delicious. I would agree with that assessment.
And then you mentioned you want to try some slow flight, which is a good deal. You should be able to fly along quite nicely at 30 miles an hour indicated. And then while you're holding it there, use your power to keep the altitude there. From there we can transition into stalls.
A little bit of power back in. Your mission now is to maintain 3,200 feet, bringing the last notch of flaps in. Okay. Now, let's keep the ball centered. What's our airspeed there? Oh, we're at 25 indicated. Yeah. So just play with it, get stable there, get your rate of descent at 0, and then when you feel you're ready, let's just make a right 90-degree turn, mostly using the rudder. Just keep the ball centered, turn right. Yeah, just gonna do it gently with rudder. Yep. Yeah, turning right is hard, right? Because that factor wants you to turn left. We're gonna turn left again. We're doing 25 miles an hour indicated. Yeah, that's bananas. Now let's turn back to the left. And we're holding our altitude with no problem. Now, let's say that you're worried that you're on the edge of a stall. Yep. With this power in, now you have plenty of power to maintain level flight. Yep. Let's go ahead and pull the nose up and get it to stall. Keep your ball centered, keep pulling. There, it broke.
Charlie, across the line 27 recovery.
Yeah, wow. Stabilize it out, and then let's pull it back to idle and just get into a glide there at maybe 35 miles an hour, and then just pull the stick back all the way. Yeah, that's all the way back now. Boom. Okay, yeah, there you're flying. Wow. Did we even lose any altitude on that? Not really. 50 feet, I don't know. But that's got to feel somewhat similar to your Super Cub.
No, the Super Cub is more violent because it doesn't have those VGs, right?
Yeah. Well, I was just going to say, what's going on here is you've got a lightweight airplane, weighs a couple hundred pounds less than the Super Cub, and you've got VGs, which all of our planes have. So it gives it very nice low-speed characteristics.
To get rid of flaps?
Sure. You can still try your turns. Oh. It broke a little bit there, okay? Yeah. Now see, this airplane's a little heavier. It broke at a little higher airspeed, didn't it? Yep. But see, it did break on you when you didn't expect it. Did it surprise you at all? Not really. Then you let go of the stick a bit and it came right back. I did, yeah. So we're going to power idle. Drops will fine. You should be able to do all this flying with your fingertips on the stick, huh? And start at, 40, 45 and hold your altitude and just let the airspeed creep down. Oh, look, you're already down to 30. Yeah. Wow, the airspeed indicator is like vertical, it's reading nothing. Awesome. And that same pitch up attitude. See, the qualities are very similar to the other two, aren't they? Yep. Obvious. Not break. See it now, it nibbled and broke there a bit. You were at indicated 30. Didn't really lose any altitude though, that's pretty cool. Yeah, very nice. Want to just stall it? Whatever you want to do, sure. I'll leave the power where it is and just give it a stall. Yeah. See? Yeah, great, like smooth, predictable, no sudden wing drop or anything. There you go. Nice.
The next episode will cover landing all three of these airplanes on grass and pavement, and getting the SS back on the ground at home with a 16 gusting 26 crosswind was one of the most challenging flying experiences I've ever had. Meantime, all three raw, uncut flights are currently available to Patreon supporters. It's the least I can do to thank you guys for being part of this thing. And thanks to our sponsors, we have tons of things to give away each month. Please visit flightshops.com to win, join our mailing list, and view the back catalog of over 100 episodes. Until next time, keep your flight chops sharp.
Full manifold pressure and leave the prop where it is. And get a 500-foot of mid descent. Look at your ground speed. Bananas. we're descending, so we're cheating, but hey, bragging rights. You got to say you've been 160 in a Cub.